Hi everyone. Well, as I told you in class, we're going to use this video to show you how to organize, order, and classify people or things. At the end of the video, I'm going to tell you what is this for. In what cases in real life you can use this process. Well, now I'm going to give you all the steps to classify things. And then I'm going to explain with an example each of the steps. And after that, you're going to have some exercises that you're going to do in class on Monday. So that's why it is important to watch this video carefully so you can work on Monday really fast. So the process is the following. First of all, we have to define the purpose. As we have done with the previous processes, it is important to know why are we doing something, what is the purpose of it. Then we have to observe, to watch carefully the things or animals or stuff or people that we want to classify. And when I say watch carefully, is because it is important to identify the characteristics in order to do the next step, which is to compare. When we observe and compare, we can identify the characteristics of the things we're classifying, and then we're ready to identify the criteria or variable to do the classification. After that, we're going to order the variable according to our purpose. In the example we want to work with, we're going to classify with different criteria. If we had a specific purpose, then we use one of the criteria we have found. I'll show you in the example. We have a set of figures here, 12 of them, and we're going to start by identifying the shape of them. We have rectangles, one rectangle, 2, 3, 4, and 5 rectangles. Then we have circles. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4 circles. And then we have ovals. And the ovals are 1, 1, 2, 3 ovals. Now we're going to look at the figure that has inside, the design that is inside the shape. And we can identify, for example, sloping lines. Those sloping lines are in this rectangle, this other rectangle, and where's the other one? Here's another rectangle with sloping lines. The rest of the rectangles have squares inside. Oh, I'm sorry. The rest of the rectangles have squares inside. We have one, 2, and 3 big rectangles and 1 and 2 small rectangles. 2 circles have sloping lines like this one and this one. And the other two, two more have squares inside like this one. And where is the other one? Here's the other one. And 2 of them are big, here and here, and 2 of them are small. Now look at the ovals. We have same size for the 3 ovals, 3 small ovals, and 2 of them have squares inside, and the other one has sloping lines. Now we're going to identify similarities and differences. We have 4 circles with different sizes. We have small and big ones, 5 rectangles that also have different sizes. We have small and big ones, and 3 ovals with the same size. And then we have 2 types of interior design. We have the design of the squares, like this, and here's another one, and another one, and another one. So we have the design of squares, and we have the design of the sloping lines, like this one and the rest of them. So look at the rest. So we have only 2 interior designs for these shapes. Now we're going to establish the relations. As you can see here, the rectangles are big and small with interior design of 2 types, sloping lines and squares. The circles are big and small with interior design of 2 types, sloping lines and squares. All ovals are the same size but with different design. According to the relations we have found, we're going to identify the variables. We have found 4 variables. 1, shape of the figure. The second, number of figures of each shape. The third one, the interior design, and the fourth one, the size. The next step is to identify the variables that define similarities and differences. So what are those variables? Well, as you can see, those variables are shape of the figure, interior design, and size. We're not going to use the number of figures of each shape because we don't have similarities. So we're not going to use this one, the number of figures of each shape. Now we want to start with the classification. The criteria that we want to use is the shape, the size, and the interior design. For the shape, we're going to have rectangles, circles, and ovals. For the size, we're going to have small and big. And for the interior design, we're going to have sloping lines and squares. Are you tired? Well, I have good news, we're almost done, so be patient. For the first criteria, which is the shape, we have rectangles, which are number 1, 3, 8, 9, and 11. We have circles, which are 2, 4, 6, and 12. And finally, ovals, we have 5, 7, and 10. As you can see, we don't have repeated elements of this set in the different criteria. I mean, if you check this, we have number 1, 3, 8, 9, and 11 for rectangles. We have 2, 4, 6, and 12 for circles, and we have 5, 7, and 10 for ovals. They don't overlap, so that's a good way to check that we're classifying correctly. And if we add all the elements, we obtain the 12. So check this. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So we're doing good with the shape. Now the next variable, which is the size, we have big and small ones. So the big ones are 1, 4, 6, 8, 11, and 12. And the small ones are 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 10. Again, as you can see, we have 2 classifications for the same variable. They do not overlap. We have, you can see with the colors that we don't have one element in two of the possible variables. So if you add the elements, you're going to obtain 12 again. So if we add, the big ones are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So we're not overlapping. For the last variable, which is interior design, we have sloping lines for 1, 3, 6, 10, 11, and 12. And we have squares for 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, and that's it. So again, you can see with the colors that we're not overlapping. If we use the interior design criteria, we have two choices, the sloping lines and the squares. And each element goes in one of those two. Same thing with the size. If you check the big ones and the small ones, they do not overlap, neither with the shape. So this is a good way of checking that we're classifying in the right way. Another thing that we have to check is that we don't have repeated elements for each of the options. Look at the shape, okay? So here's the shape. Look at rectangles. We have 3, 1, 3, 8, 9, and 11. And then we have 2, 4, 6, and 12. And then we have 5, 7, and 10. There are no repeated ones, and all of them are 12. Same thing with the size and the interior design. That means we did a great job. Now we know how to classify, how to do this. That's why you're going to practice with some exercises that I'm going to give you at school. Finally, the teacher is going to tell you what is this for. Why you should practice the classification process? Because in your real life, you can organize ideas, you can identify irrelevant stuff, you can think by variables, you can understand better what you read and what you hear. It helps to identify essential stuff, and when you study, it helps to memorize and to use the information in a more precise way. So this is what it's for. If you believe that you're not going to use it, trust me, you're going to use it the rest of your life. So it was a pleasure recording this video for you. I hope you enjoy it.